Hello and welcome to episode 9 of the Boss Battle podcast. It's the 6th of January 2017. It's our first episode of the year, and I'm your host James, and with me today I've got Chris.
Hello.
And Carl.
Hello.
Hello boys, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Welcome back. Probably haven't done a huge amount between our last Christmas podcast and today, but we've got a few things to talk about. So in today's episode we're going to be talking about The Last Guardian, which Carl will be filling us in on as he played it over Christmas.
I did.
Chris is going to give us his movie review, and I won't spoil the film just now. And we'll be giving our expectations and what we're looking forward to in 2017 in movies, TV and gaming. But first, lads, as always, let's kick off with what we've been up to since the last time we all got together. So, Carl, what have you been doing since we last recorded?
Eating, and then not eating now. But I've been playing. I played The Last Guardian on the PS4, which I thoroughly enjoyed. If anyone doesn't know about it, it's from the Team Eco or Ico, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Who did Ico and Shadow of Colossus, which are all brilliant games, but very old now. And this is another. Seems to be a bit of a trend. This does at the moment. These 10-year games. It's another one that's been in development for about 10 years now, and it's about an unnamed little kid who wakes up next to this beast type thing. It's kind of like a cross between a bird, a cat, and a dog, and it's called Trico. You just follow them. Well, first of all, it starts off. I don't know if we want spoilers. Do we want spoilers?
I don't think
there aren't many spoilers in this.
Yeah, I'll let you use your judgment.
Okay. It basically starts off with you trying to befriend this dog, cat, bird thing, Trico, and it's kind of injured, and you have to sort of pull some stuff out of it. You don't know anything about it because it literally just throws you straight into it, and you've got to find these barrels. Which are basically the food which you feed to the dog. You just sort of throw it towards him at the moment because he doesn't like you, and he sort of attacks you as you're going towards him. But when you feed him enough barrels, you take off like this armour, he lets you get onto him and stuff. And then it's just basically you going through the environment, which is amazing. The views in the environment and just the level design I thought was brilliant. I loved the game so much, and the sort of the bond that you get between yourself and Trico is great. And as far as like an AI character and this being in the game, it's like he's actually real, which is weird because he shoots lightning out of his tail sometimes.
It's interesting you say that because we talked over Christmas about this, and I've never played it, and I know you've said I should play, but I probably won't, knowing me and the backlog of games I've got. But I think one of the few things I'd heard in other podcasts that I listened to and things I'd read were that the creature's behaviour to some people was what you've described, something really real, and like you'd expect an animal to sort of be obedient at times and not obedient. But other people said that they felt it felt to them more like the game was broken, and that the actual character simply wasn't, written or developed to play properly because it'd been in development for so long and it was an old game. So there was some people felt like you did that it was by design and that they made the character feel real. Other people said they found it frustrating because that's not how they perceived it. So you definitely felt like it was intended.
Yes, without a doubt.
Interesting.
Because a lot of it is you get no hand holding whatsoever. I mean, there's a couple of flashes of things of buttons you've got to press, like to hold on to something, but it doesn't tell you that you can give Trico these commands to a certain extent. Only at like certain points do you say to press this button. But as far as until you get, I think I was about halfway through the game before it told me to press this button. But I'd already knew about it because I was just like, it makes you experiment with it instead of just telling you what to do, which I liked. It was more, what's the word? It was more real, it was more natural. It wasn't a case of, okay, I want to know how to move him now and he's just going to move and we're going to be at the end of the game within 3 hours. And I think it took me 12 all told.
I heard it was 12 to 13 hours long.
And you learn as you go, which is kind of the bond between you and the dog gets greater as you go through the game. So you'll be able to control him more and you'll learn more as you get towards the end of the game. So, and that kind of felt like the proper progression is what it should be. Because there's no progression in the game. You don't level up or anything like that. You just learn how to make the dog do what you want it to do, and I'm calling it a dog because people keep calling it a dog. So
I was going to ask you actually, because you obviously as a kid had a dog.
Yeah.
Chris, you've got a dog.
We've always had
dogs. I've got a dog at the moment. Do you think because you've had pets before that you kind of found a bond there or more interest in the animal, or do you think you'd have found that anyway?
I think I'd have found that anyway because I would know how an animal sort of behaves.
I don't know.
You watch any documentaries or anything like that, you'd understand how an animal sort of behaves in a way.
But I would say I'd argue that before I had my dog, I didn't understand the significant difference, and it sounds stupid when I say this, but the significant difference between a cat and a dog in terms of its affection and its attachment to you and its needs. So I never knew to the level at which our dog wants attention, requires attention, that it would be like that prior to having one. So I don't know if people necessarily do just know that, unless you've had one. I just wondered if you found yourself with an attachment to the character by the end, with it, more so than maybe in other games where you've had.
I had more of an attachment to Trico than I did the kid that you're actually controlling.
Well, the kid is your avatar, effectively, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's you within the game, and then the Trico then becomes your. That's what I was referring to. Did you find yourself attached to Trico by the end?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. And going back to one of our podcasts in 2016, where I said one of my awards was for the characters, and I gave it to BT. I'd actually have to scrub that and say Trico, because he's just amazing. As far as in a video game goes, it was really good, and I think that's just worth playing through it anyway.
Well, it's super cheap now, isn't it? I think I texted you a picture from, I think it was in Sainsbury's.
Yeah, I mean, I got it for
it was $24.99 already, and it's only been out. Well, it's less than a month, isn't it? Well, is it less than a month now?
Came
out in
I think it's probably about a month.
November.
No,
December, wasn't it? I think it was December. Either way, for that kind of price drop, it was quite quick. Yeah. So it's obviously not sold the units that they might have liked it to, but I think a lot of...
You could say the same about Titanfall, though, couldn't you?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. And we did. We said exactly the same about that game, didn't we? But I think I just think it's interesting because that game did take so long to come out. Why you'd release that close to Christmas? Most people have done their shopping by then. They know what games they're buying, or their kids have decided what games they want bought for them. It's a bit of a gamble last minute. I can't help but wonder if they'd have done better releasing that in a quieter period, maybe over the summer or early this year, when there isn't that sort of influx of all these AAA games.
Well, I think that was one of the ones that got delayed, wasn't it? Because I think it was meant to come out sort of summertime, wasn't it?
Delayed year on year, wasn't it? I don't think this was the first delay.
The original massive delay was because they wanted the power from the PS4, because they were originally going to do it for the PS3. Yeah. But I think obviously with the AI to Trico, it would have been a bit difficult, and probably with the expanse of the world as well, really, because there was no loading. Yeah. No loading times. You go through one area, it was there ready.
That's interesting because that was another thing that I'd heard in podcasts, and I can only base it on other people's views, was that the game didn't really seem to warrant the PS4's power, but you feel like maybe it did.
Yeah, I definitely think it does. I mean, the graphics alone, probably the best sort of graphics I've seen in anything.
Better than GTA?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I'll have to take a look. You'll have to take me through it.
I think you talked about the idea of doing
a Let's Play, haven't you? So maybe doing something for YouTube.
You can watch that.
I'll watch that. I will watch that. Cool. So, all in all...
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
Do you want to explain where 2 thumbs up comes from?
Because it's awesome.
I meant the scoring mechanism.
I think it's just it opens... It lets you interpret it how you want to interpret it. I mean, the story is pretty obvious, but it kind of leaves an open ending in a way. But it's very much like Ico and Shadow of Colossus, and those are 2 brilliant games. So,
yeah, well, they were at the time. They didn't age that well, did they? We
played
a bit of Shadow of Colossus, and it was a bit flaky recently, wasn't it? Well, some games do though. So, I mean, arguably, sort of, we talked about the NES Classic of Christmas. Super Mario plays as well now as it ever did. It's harder than the current Marios, I think, but just because there are less.
I think there's only graphics that you can gripe about with Shadow of Colossus and Ico, though.
You think?
Yeah. Okay. I think the gameplay is still the same.
I haven't tried to play them since we were.
I played on Shadow of Colossus.
Yeah, I saw you play.
Yeah, because I enjoyed that game.
Cool. So, just to clarify the two thumbs up thing, because you were going to explain our new scoring mechanism when we discussed this before recording. We're going to change our scoring mechanism for 2017 from our star ratings of last year to something a little bit easier to interpret. And we were getting all into funny half-star scores and stuff, weren't we? So we decided to go for thumbs up ratings. So it's either 2 thumbs up if we really like something, a thumb up for good, a thumb down for bad, and 2 thumbs down if it's dire.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what we're using for games, movies, TV, anything that we give an opinion on. We'll try and give it a thumb rating, let's call it, and that's how our thumb rating works.
Cool. Indeed.
What else have you been doing, Carl?
I recently tried Battlefield 1. Got the trial through EA Access. I've only really just started playing it. I'm about level 3, and I don't know is the answer. I'm not sure whether I'm going to carry on playing it because it doesn't feel... I mean, I played a lot of the Battlefields before, like Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3, every Battlefield pretty much. The only one I didn't play was Hardline. But I think the setting, it just it didn't gel with me. I mean, I'd probably need to play a bit more to give like an actual reason why, but it's not clicking with me, let's say.
It's interesting because Adam said that in the last podcast, didn't he? He said that he got it and wasn't... No, he said he played the trial. I think he'd only got the trial, didn't he? He said he had the same thing for him. It hadn't really connected, although again a game that's supposed to be visually brilliant. People have raved about the gameplay. It sold well, I think. Haven't heard much actually, have we? Really? I haven't read anything in the last few weeks or prior to Christmas about the sales of any of the shooters from this year, really. Usually you're hearing sales figures and they're quoting the millions of copies they've sold, but Call of Duty haven't released anything that I'm aware of, and they'd expect to be the biggest. Battlefield haven't really made any statements. We know Titanfall hasn't been great, but none of the companies are particularly shouting about their sales, so maybe they haven't been that good, I don't know. Maybe people have lost interest. Who knows?
I think Battlefield might beat Call of Duty this year. But I suppose it depends on whether they take it from Call of Duty or Modern Warfare.
It's quite a way off.
If it's the same grouping, then it probably will be Call of Duty.
Look, I'll say Call of Duty has always been considerably far ahead of Battlefield. Yeah. It's been a case of EA making ground up, which is, I think, what a lot of the rumours were about Battlefield and Titanfall being released at the same time.
Yeah.
Everyone bemoaned it, but their view was EA are trying to hit Activision from both angles with their own war-based, World War I based shooter, and then a futuristic thing to try and cripple Call of Duty. And I don't think it's worked, but I think still Call of Duty hasn't sold that well. I think on its own standards, at least, it's probably still sold millions.
Oh yeah.
But by its own big sales figures from previous titles, I think it's dropped.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
I watched Uncle, which is a BBC comedy, which I watched the first season through a few years ago, and literally yesterday we watched the second season. So the third season just started. It's a comedy. It's about an uncle who's a bit of an idiot, druggy and this and his the son is a bit on OCD, and it's just all the silly little interactions they come up with.
Anyone we recognise in it?
It's not really. No. You probably would recognise the uncle. He was on one of the 8 out of 10 Catsters Countdown, and I can't remember his name.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a quite a quirky programme. It's not massive. You'd probably like it actually, Chris.
Laugh out loud or just chuckle along, ha type thing?
A bit of both. It's very music. It's very music centred as well. It's like all of a sudden they'll break into like this pop song or song that he's written because he's like a musician, like a failed musician effectively.
So BBC's website calls it a comedy about an out-of-work musician who forges an unlikely alliance with his adolescent nephew. I recognise the guy's face. He's the guy. I don't know. You're trying to find his name on here. Nick Helm.
Yeah, he does look familiar.
He's the guy who does the on 8 out of 10 Cats. He's always the one doing the love songs.
Yeah, he was in Dictionary Corner.
Whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's very funny on that. I really like him on 8 out of 10 Cats, but
and it's quite a short programme. I mean, Laura probably enjoy it as well.
Not worth a go then. Might add it to the long list of TV that I haven't watched.
Anything else? No, I think that's it.
Okay, cool.
Overwatch, but then I do that every week.
I was going to say that's getting to a regular feature now. I was just start asking you if you haven't played Overwatch now, didn't I, really?
I've started
all the
more
key question is, have you spent any more money on it?
No, I haven't bought any more loot boxes.
There we go.
But then I probably will when I think they might be doing a Chinese New Year event. We'll see.
Fair enough. So, Chris, that brings me around to you. What have you been doing since we last recorded?
Firstly, it's nice to know you've watched a BBC series, but it's quite frustrating.
Yeah, it's not the missing.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Or anything that you've
Couldn't have
actually
flogged
watched.
that anymore in terms of my reviews, but anyway, nice to know you.
I'm trying to get Vicky to stop watching Real Housewives of some American country so we can actually sit down and watch something. The amount of times I've said over Christmas, can we sit down and watch Westworld? No, I need to finish Housewives.
I told you watch The Missing first. Westworld's good, but The Missing's better.
Yeah, I must admit my enthusiasm to watch The Missing while you're scrolling through your notes there. So not Missing, Westworld has really dropped just because I didn't. None of the sort of channels or the things I watch or listen to particularly raved about it in the latter episodes. There was a lot of hype first few episodes, but even you said that you found the latter.
Well, actually, towards the end, it's really good. It's the middle. It flagged. It started well, flagged a bit, and then got really good at the end.
But apparently, the next season isn't until 2018 now. Is what they said. So I'm thinking, well, I've got a year to catch up with that. I'll wait. Yeah. I'm not that bothered, and I'll see whether there's a hype around season 2 and maybe a bit of a catch up close to the time. I don't feel there's a pressure to watch it now if I'm not going to fall behind that quickly.
Yeah.
There's other things I'd rather watch that are potentially relevant this year. So I've kind of parked that one a bit, whereas I was quite enthused about the idea of actually being up to date for a change. I've now said no, can't bothered.
I think you've been up to date for a change, kind of gone, considering the season's finished now.
Well, at the beginning of the season, I fully intended to watch it week on week. Got one episode behind and thought I'll catch that up, and then never did.
Yeah.
Never started it, so life got in the way. Life did not find a way.
No, Ian Malcolm was wrong.
Bastard. Sorry, Chris, go on. What have you been up to?
So I've very quickly finished a box set, but it's because it was 5 episodes long. So, and I'm not expecting either of you to have heard of this, but it was a show called London Spy. It was a BBC miniseries last year. I think it was 2015.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Where do you find these TV series?
I tend to have a little look on box sets and on Netflix and things like that, and check see ratings and things like that.
Can I also ask you a question?
And it also does if you watch this, we recommend you.
If you watch Michelle Keegan, you might like Michelle Keegan.
Well, funny enough, Michelle Keegan's it now. She's not in it.
So my question is, are you sponsored by the BBC?
No, but BBC,
do you have a BBC tattoo?
BBC do a lot of good TV. Some very good.
Uncle was BBC.
And a lot of them seem to go on Netflix after about a year. I've noticed Line of Duty.
I would suggest it's dangerous to get BBC tattooed on yourself. Given that
I suppose it depends on where you get it tattooed.
It has a meaning, doesn't it? In another world.
What's the other meaning?
I wouldn't ever want to go on Prism anyway.
Large ethnic manhood. Is that how you describe it? Is that PC?
I think you just
that would be LEM though. LEM, not BBC.
Well, don't get older than tattooed on you.
No, I'd recommend it. Well, it hasn't. I'll try and raise the tone if I can, which isn't difficult, is it? But it's got Q from the recent Bond films as the main sort of character.
Laura likes him.
Wishaw. And it's got Jim Broadbent. He's really good in it, so you know him for a lot of TV programmes. And it's got a few faces you'll recognise, but I liked it because I didn't know much about it, and it'll be surprise you. I'm not going to give too much away. I'm going to try not to anyway. But the basic premise is that Ben Wishaw's character isn't a spy, which I thought he was. I thought, that's interesting, him playing a spy himself. He's not. He just ends up getting involved with a guy who is.
For the spy.
Sorry?
Does he create gadgets for the spy?
No. So he gets involved with a guy who is a spy, and without giving too much away, he gets involved in this mystery, trying to solve a mystery, and it's quite good because it doesn't go off. It doesn't sort of resolve itself really cleanly. Actually, I can't give too much away. I'd say watch it. 1 thumb up.
1 thumb up. Watch it with 1 thumb up.
Yeah.
1 thumb up where?
We need to think through when we deliver our ratings. A sentence like that.
Yeah.
Dear.
You're gonna have to send me a text message with these things I need to watch because I've forgotten most of them.
Missing.
There's no point because I've literally said show of the year, told you about it a million times, and you haven't watched it, so I'm not going to recommend anything else.
I might hit
we
the
watch
jackpot
that.
and break my leg at some point, and I'll have a couple of weeks off work. I'll have to watch them then.
Basically, you need to watch The Missing, and then you need to watch something about cocks with a thumb at your bum. How did you find that then? Is it a one season thing?
I think a lot
of these BBC are one season.
Yeah.
But is it like one season and closed?
I can't see them developing it again because it felt like it was just sort of one story, really. Yeah. So I can't see it coming back.
And how long ago did that? Because your TV tends
2015.
Oh wow, that's fairly recent for you then too. Mm-hmm. Or your standards.
I've been delving back into.
So it's also like you're catching up.
Almost.
So you're gonna have one.
I will run out at
2016
some point the way it's going, but
yeah, you probably will.
Yeah, no, it's good.
I'm gonna trade that horse in for a car soon.
Yeah.
I've not really reviewed that very well at all, to be honest. But yeah, I had to say watch it.
Well, it sounded a bit.
I don't want to give anything away because if I talk about the plot, it kind of ruins it.
It sounded a little bit like you can't without spoiling it, but
yeah, but it's.
Well, you kind of spoiled the fact that Q wasn't the spy.
Yeah, but he's not sold. You said he wasn't. You said he's not sold as the spy, is he? That's just what your assumption was going into it.
No, I just
when you said London first,
spy.
I was going to say London.
It is set in London, and we're in that.
Okay.
Oh no. Do you watch? Like, and this is completely not to do with the series. This is more about how you came across it because I'm interested.
Yeah.
Was there like a trailer that you watched first?
No.
Do you just go?
You literally came up. I just thought, yeah. Well, I remember seeing a review of it, like the last episode, when it came out at the time a couple of years ago, and I remember it caught my attention, but I just didn't get around to watching it. So when I saw it,
do you stick it on a list or anything to watch? Do you like?
You haven't got a my list on Netflix then?
No. Interestingly enough, I've just started the OA. I'm 3 episodes in. I should be able to review that come next podcast.
The OA.
The OA. It's the big Netflix series at the moment.
Yeah.
It's the biggest one.
Recently,
stuff explained.
Yeah.
I've only seen.
It's a new Netflix exclusive following sort of Stranger Things. And it comes up if you go onto Netflix. It pretty much comes in the top left-hand corner. It's a girl turns up years after disappearing, and when she disappeared, she was blind, and now she's not. And she kind of goes back to foster parents, and then it builds from there, and it kind of backfills what happened in between time. And
she's aged normally. It's not like some aged normally.
No, aged normally. But the strange thing is, she was blind, and now she sees.
Yeah.
And so yeah,
that's curious.
It's got a bit of mystery in it with Stranger Things. It's got I won't ruin it too much, but yeah, I'll review that other time.
How many episodes?
Would you class this as sci-fi or is it going down an alien route, or do you think?
No, not necessarily. It just feels like it's got tinges of sci-fi, but I think it's meant to be more of a drama slash thriller.
You haven't
mystery.
finished it yet, and I'm not worried about you. Maybe because you're guessing.
Yeah.
How do you think she got her vision back? What would you guess at the moment based on? Because you're only 3 seasons in, 3 episodes in, so.
She found Jesus.
My guess might ruin. Okay, I'll guess it's because I think she went through some form of near-death experience which brought her vision back. But I won't say why I think
it's not grounded in reality then, because I'm not aware that's the thing.
Well, no, but you get lots of strange things.
That's what I'm trying to get a feel for what you think is going to happen.
It's a little bit almost. I think they're trying to be centred on reality as much as they can, but at the same time, a bit like with Stranger Things, it was sort of realistic in terms of the nods to the 80s and stuff, but the whole.
Yeah, but it was about aliens.
The alien stuff was exactly a stretch.
Well, alien.
So when you finish watching it, maybe by the next episode.
Yeah.
You will see if you were right. Then you think near-death experience.
I think near-death experience somehow gets her vision back. Yeah, but I haven't got a clue about.
Do you want to guess? I'm going with Jesus.
You're going with Jesus.
I'm going with Jesus.
Oh, even though I've never watched it and I didn't know it existed until you just explained it to me, I'm gonna say it's not the same girl.
Okay.
She has a twin.
Like that guess.
Weird.
Yeah, like that guess.
I'm gonna go. I've got no idea what this program
is.
It's only.
So we've got near-death experience, 8 hours, Jesus, and not the same girl.
No, that's right.
Let's see if any one of us is right then.
It's so going to be Jesus.
I'd love it if it's Jesus.
To be honest, that would be a brilliant twist.
Yeah.
If you just saw sandals and then it's...
I think, I've got to be honest, I've got a real thing, like, with any film or TV trying to do religion, I can't think, you'll probably put me on the spot now and say something really clever back to me, but I can't think of a good example of a film that has done religion in a way they've tried to sell it as real.
Oh, Life of Brian, definitely.
I suppose
the Dan Brown ones to a certain extent.
But that's not... That's their take on religion.
Yeah, it's not
But like, I'm thinking of... It was a really bad Nicolas Cage, probably straight to DVD thing that I bought cheap from Sainsbury's as a Blu-ray. And it was about £5, literally was cheap. It had only been out a year, and I thought that sounds dodgy straight away. And he plays an airline pilot. But it's basically... he's flying the plane. I'm going off on a tangent here.
Is it Snakes on the Plane?
No, it's not Snakes on the Plane. He's flying the plane.
Zombies on the plane.
And all of a sudden, half the passengers flat out disappear. The plane is in the air. They just poof. They're gone. Okay. And there is a term for this from a religious perspective, and I can't remember what it is. There's even a game that plays on this particular idea in religion. But it's basically the idea is that God has come and taken all the good people, and everyone who's left is buggered, basically. So you spend the whole film...
Well, 2016 was having a good go at that.
Well, yeah, but at least they were dying.
That kind of sounds like the beginning to Lost.
It's really odd. The plane literally, like the lights go out, it goes a bit mad, there's a bit of turbulence, and poof, everyone's gone. It's not like there's clothes there or there's bodies. Yeah. Everyone has just vanished, and it's just the stupidest thing. So all the way through, you're thinking, this is interesting, this could go somewhere really clever. And at the end, they go, "Oh, it's Jesus, it's God," and I was like, really? That was how this film was going to go.
That's what's happened at the beginning of what was that film with James Franco and all that, the comedy one, where they all are in hell. Well, no, hell's come to earth. I can't remember.
Oh, this is the end. Or something like
this is the end. Yeah. That's what happened at the beginning of that. They all the righteous people went up to heaven.
Yeah, but that's a joke.
Yeah, obviously
this is not a joke. This is like, so Nicolas Cage is like, "Oh man, my daughter's gone." And he's like, "I'm still here," and it's like, "Yeah, because you're the bad man who's going to rot on earth, and everyone's gone." There's a few things that have done that concept. I think I can't remember what there is a term. It'll come back to me, but there's a game based on it as well. There's a game you can get. Which is about whatever the name for this process is called. I might Google it in a minute.
The Chosening.
Anything else? Other than your movie review?
No, that's pretty much it for this week.
Okay. I've done a couple of things, nothing major. So TV-wise, I finished Black Sails Season 3. Ooh. Have either of you started that yet?
Nope.
Don't talk about the missing then.
I've got Amazon. I've got too many platforms.
It's brilliant. Third season. It's got better with every season, and I'm really pleased I finished it when I did, because I looked up season 4 and it's supposed to start
that's coming out this
end of this month in the States. So if that's true over here as well, I don't know. But I'll probably wait for
Amazon, shouldn't it?
It's not an Amazon.
Oh, it's not Amazon this one.
No, it's not Amazon original. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. You mentioned, I think, to me off the record, so to speak, that you were understanding that it's about Long John Silver. Do you remember saying that to me? And Treasure Island?
Oh, that was me, yeah.
I mean, I'm not spoiling anything for anyone when I say that's where it eventually leads. So the character you meet in season 1 as John Silver, it's a little bit like Breaking Bad in a way. You know how Walter White starts off as that good guy and then descends into evil?
You see why,
It's a little bit like that in that at the start of season 1, and I'm not going to spoil any major story stuff for you here. This is just one individual's story, and he's not the key guy. He starts off as this kind of fairly unassuming, kind of winging it guy who falls into the lap of the pirates, and it kind of escalates from him from there. But he's kind of descended, and by the end of season 3, he's now much more what you think of when you think of Long John Silver, and he's now assuming this role of this sort of fearsome. He's not fearsome, but there's like this tale being built around him being this fearsome pirate. It's a really good series. Season 1 seems to try and draw you in with lots of boobs. I think I've talked about that before.
Yeah,
there's a little bit.
I'll get on it. Yeah,
there's a little bit of that in season 2 and 3, but much less, and it's much more about the story and the characters. And actually, again, I won't spoil it by naming anyone or giving it too much detail, but there is a character who does not survive season 3, and I was quite upset about it. It was a really good character I did not want to see go, and there are loads of characters you'll like, so I'm not spoiling it when I say that, but if you haven't watched it, definitely watch it. I was recommended to me about 18 months ago. I'm glad I got on it and watched it. Really, really enjoyed it. So
it has been on my radar for a while.
Yeah, definitely need to pick it up. You'll love it. Yeah. You really will. So I did that. Carl, you forgot to mention that we've all seen the film that Chris is going to review. So
I forgot to mention that. Sorry.
Well, you didn't say you'd seen it.
Yeah.
We've all seen it. The only thing I've watched, which was a Christmas present, was my Ultimate Warrior Blu-ray. So WWE Fame, or WWF as it used to be when I watched him. I had the Blu-ray for Christmas. It's basically his best matches. But then the second disc is the documentary about his return to the WWE and kind of his story. And it's made sadder, I guess, and more poignant because when they were filming all of this, once he'd made his return, the day after his appearance on Raw, which is their weekly show, he died of a massive heart attack.
Yeah.
Which I found actually really difficult to watch. Like, I'm not a proud man. I shed a tear or two watching that, and I sort of sat forward on the sofa with Laura behind me thinking, she knows I'm upset about this, but she's not saying anything. And I think it was for two reasons. One was the nostalgia of what he meant to me as a kid, because growing up he was my favourite wrestler, and wrestling was a big thing for me as a kid. I don't watch it anymore, but back in the day, the Hulks, Warrior, Randy Savage, all those guys were a big deal to me. And he was my favourite. The Warrior was always my favourite.
Yeah.
So I think there's a bit of that, a bit of the sadness that went with that. He had a really quite difficult story as well. So when he left the WWE, it wasn't acrimonious. So it was, I'm thinking that's the word. It was acrimonious. He had a massive fallout with the owners, but it went a step further in that they made a DVD. The WWE made a DVD to sort of badmouth him and trash him about the decline of the Warrior, as like he was unravelling, and they made it sound like he was a madman, and there was lots of lawsuits and lots of sort of nasty things were said and done. So it was a really big thing, sort of, for him to come back into the fold, and it actually took guys don't watch wrestling, but Triple H, who's a more recent wrestler, but even him is quite an old.
He was in Blade 3.
He was in Blade 3. He's been around for a while, but away from their characters, he's married to Stephanie McMahon, who is the daughter of Vince McMahon, who owns WWE. So he's next in line to run the company, essentially. And that's actually a storyline that they play on, but he genuinely is. And he was a big part of bringing the Warrior back. He spent a lot of time talking to him, showing him that the company was one that they could now trust, that it had changed, and it was doing lots of good things. So they brought him back into the fold. They showed his sort of emotional return, some of the kind of making up with the people that he'd upset, and then of course it reached the point when he'd had his appearance on Raw, and then the next day he died. And so then it showed footage of them interviewing the stars of now, getting emotional, upset, and then the sort of the memory they did for him and the sort of service they did in the WWE event. They sort of all came out and they did a minute's applause or whatever to his tune and all this sort of stuff, and it was just really difficult to watch because he got two young girls that he left behind as well, so they were, I don't know, probably looking at them, I don't know, late 9 to 10, maybe early teens, I don't know, they weren't that old, so it was quite sad to see that they were all part of this, him coming back into the fold. He got this family now and a loving wife and whatever, and then this tragedy struck, sort of thing, and I found that quite hard. I think being a dad and the idea of leaving my daughter behind was quite upsetting, but also, as I said, what he meant to me as a kid. So it was quite hard to watch, but I really enjoyed watching it. And it was, I haven't watched the DVD of the best matches. That'd probably be a much easier watch and something that's probably more nostalgic. But it was just interesting to see the story behind it. So that was the other thing that I did.
I think I think there's two fights that I remember watching, and that was the Hulk Hogan and the Andre the Giant.
Oh God, that's really going back then. It's like early WrestleManias, isn't it? Yeah. When he slammed him.
Indeed.
Well, this is one of the things they talked about. So there was a point at which, and I'm assuming, Chris, you know all these characters, even if you didn't watch it.
I used to watch Hulk. I didn't have Sky, but I did.
Yeah, I didn't have Sky.
I was a Hulk fan, so I didn't like Hulk.
Watch, yeah.
I just remember he beat Hulk, didn't they?
Well, this is it. So him and Hulk were both on the rise. It was the first time they'd ever had two fan favourites facing off against each other.
Yeah.
But it had reached a point, which I thought was quite interesting, where the Ultimate Warrior was taking over the reins as the most popular character. He was selling more shirts. Obviously, he was really popular because he then went on to beat the Warrior, which they did. Hogan. But that's when it all started to fall apart. So I don't think he was faultless in the process. I think he did things as well that he shouldn't have done, and it all went a bit sour. But he basically was, to a degree, his own downfall because he got too into himself and too big to his own boots. That he believed his own press, and he was really, apparently he was very sort of siloed in the dressing room, didn't have much to do with the other wrestlers, and they didn't like that because they were quite a family unit behind the scenes. So lots of little things that he did and the company did ended up being his downfall, but he ultimately was in a position where he could have been what we know Hogan to have been for all those years. He was the face of the industry, you know. If you think about wrestling, if you said Hulk Hogan, everybody knows Hulk Hogan. Whether you watch wrestling or not, you know who Hulk Hogan is. And he nearly had that status, and he kind of balls it all up. So that's quite sad as well, I think.
Yeah.
Other than that, all I've done is GTA. A bit of GTA over Christmas.
Yeah,
just a bit of casual messing around on some of the new modes that I haven't yet dived into. Excellent. So before we get into our key talking point for this episode, which is going to be what we're looking forward to in 2017, just a little reminder to anyone listening, if you want to get in touch, you can email us at bossbattlenetwork@gmail.com or tweet us at bossbattlenet with anything that you've been up to recently. Tell us what you've been doing, what you've been getting up to, and we'll have a read and discuss that. Also send your questions or send your thoughts on anything we've discussed so far or still to discuss. Cool. So then, what we're going to do then, guys, let's have a little think about 2017. Got an exciting year ahead, TV, media, film and film and games. Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to go around and ask you all to give me something that you're looking forward to this year. And we'll start with something that Chris can get involved in, because let's be honest, we all know games is not one of those things he'll talk about.
Yeah.
Have you got a game you're looking forward to, Chris? No. No. So we'll do movies. Chris, give me a movie you're looking forward to in 2017.
When I was creating notes for this, I decided to do sort of 5 movies I'm looking forward to, and then I thought it would be a bit too overlaps too much to include ones we discussed recently in terms of doing the trailer breakdowns. So there are films like Guardians 2 I'm really looking forward to, but I thought, do you know what, we've sort of touched on them, so I thought I'll do 5 that don't include the trailer breakdowns we did recently, and I'll talk about the first one, which is Lego Batman.
I did think about that on the way over, actually. I seen the post. I thought,
I just hope it isn't one of those where the trailers, all the funny bits, and then the film itself is.
Well, the Lego movie wasn't the same, was it? There was a lot of funny bits that you didn't see the trailer of that.
True,
so I'd imagine it'd been the same.
I think he's got a lot of potential, and I find Will Arnett really funny when he did his version of him. So
I've got to say, I really liked the Lego movie, and I loved the trailers, and really got into that. When I heard they were doing Lego Batman, I wasn't
too much.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I just wasn't that bothered. I just thought, okay, I'm open to it.
Yeah.
And I have to say, the trailers I've seen since do look really good.
Look good, yeah.
But I wasn't bothered. But I do think now it could be really funny, and if they've got a lot of the DC characters in to support in terms of the enemies, which I assume they have, that could be really funny. And I'd like it to be successful, because I don't want them to stop at Batman. I'd like to see them go on and do maybe some of the things that I'm more attached to, like the Turtles or Marvel or whatever. That could be really funny.
Yeah, it could be.
So let's just not get what's his name? Michael Bay involved.
Yeah, that's true.
It could just be everything. It could be just Lego blowing up for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So Lego Batman.
Yeah, that's one of my 5.
It's a good one. I did see that, but I didn't add it on my list. But it's a good one.
Yeah.
Carl, what about you? A movie you're looking forward to?
A movie?
We'll do movies for now.
Spider-Man.
I've got that on my list. It's a must. It's a must. Yeah, and we talked about that. I mean, I'm assuming, Chris, when you dismissed that from your list, that was...
Yeah, not because I'm not looking forward to it, just because we talked about it.
Spider-Man, yeah. Shall we get out of the way now? Spider-Man, Guardians 2. We've talked about it before.
Yeah, Thor.
I want to talk about Thor, because that's on my list, and we haven't talked about it as much, and only because there was another reveal.
Yeah, there was
last week,
I saw that,
which we didn't know last time we talked about it. So I'll do mine, then I'll do Thor. Get that out of the way. Thor Ragnarok. Really looking forward to that. Before we go into the reveal you're thinking of, did you also see that they've posted? This is a really sad thing to get excited about. The logo for the movie.
No.
They've posted. It looks quite. It looks a bit retro to me. I think it's got a bit of an 80s vibe, which I'm sure the film won't have. But the logo's got a bit of a He-Man 80s look to it. Have a look, check it out. It's interesting. But the news that's been bubbling around the last week or so has been that there's going to be a third main character, isn't there?
Yes.
Which is going to be Doctor Strange.
Yes.
So the rumour is he's going to be joining Thor and Hulk. Yeah. But also, I think, no real detail, but there is been confirmation, I think, that Thor is going to be fighting the Hulk in the film. So it's not like they're just
each other, I think. It's basically going to be Planet Hulk.
Well, they're doing a bit of that, aren't they? Yeah. So it's interesting to me that it's not just going to be something's happened to the Hulk, he's done this, and now he's friends with the Thor.
Yeah.
It looks like he's going to either have to recruit him, beat him for some reason. Interested in that. I'd be interested if they're going to kind of throw together the Ragnarok comic story and the Planet Hulk story, but
I think they are.
I think that's
I'll be honest,
where they're sort of going.
3 Marvel films this year, that's what I'm most excited for.
Yeah.
And that's saying something, because I'm really looking forward to Spider-Man and Guardians, and probably both those two films have got a better recent history than Thor, because Thor 2 wasn't brilliant. It's probably one of the worst of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is not a bad thing, but it wasn't great.
No, it wasn't.
But I really can't wait to see Thor, Hulk specifically for me.
Yeah,
a big thing. But with Doctor Strange now as well, I'm really intrigued how that's going to work.
I think it's going to be I did watch a little video, like a 10-minute video today, just summarising some of it, and it seems like it's going to start off maybe with the Hulk. Because obviously at the end of Age of Ultron, you see Hulk going off in the ship.
And it's only a Quinjet, it's not like it's a spaceship. I mean,
apparently that's how he does it in the comics. He enters the atmosphere and he goes off.
In the comics, in Planet Hulk, he's fired off the planet by the Avengers. So he has, in the comics, Betty's killed.
Yeah.
Hulk goes on a rampage, just loses his shit and smashes up New York. The Avengers restrain him, and for his own good, they put him in a rocket ship and fire him into space, aiming him at a planet which they believe to be completely fine and quiet and peaceful, where he can live out his days without anything to bother him. But then he has a problem when in space, and he crash lands on the gladiatorial planet that he ends up on. He has to then fight in this gladiatorial arena. He pretty much stays exclusively as the Hulk throughout the whole thing, gets ever more powerful, eventually takes over. He's living a happy life on that planet. The spaceship conveniently then explodes, killing his wife on this new planet. He goes flipping mental, gets in the spaceship and goes back to Earth to fight everyone.
No,
that's the Planet Hulk story.
I think there's two versions.
That's the comic. I've got the comic at home.
Oh yeah, but there's another version of it, because they did an anime of the one comic, which is where he crash lands on this planet, which is the like he doesn't have a wife or anything.
But the comic books is. That's the course. There's only one planet.
I do remember the video that I watched. He said it's not to be confused with another Planet Hulk type thing. I can't remember what that comic was called. But yeah, it does look really good.
The other thing I'm looking forward to is that by the time you get to that film, we'll have had Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I don't see Spider-Man doing a huge link into Infinity Wars.
No,
I think there might be a little sneaky drop somewhere, but I can't sit behind big on that one. Guardians has got to link to Infinity Wars somehow.
Yeah, without doubt.
There's got to be something, even if it's after credits, that heavily leans on that. Which means by the time we get to Thor, we should know a little bit more about where Infinity War's going, because I think Infinity War... I might get someone to Google this. Is Infinity War the next Marvel film then? Is it May 2018?
I think it is.
That's when the Avengers films have typically come out, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't think of any others that are out before then.
So we've got Black Panther, but that was pushed because of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Inhumans was pushed, but was always after the first Infinity Wars anyway. I think that's been completely got rid of now in favour of a TV series. So I think Infinity Wars has got to be what follows Thor. There's no more Cap movies or Iron Man planned. I can't think of any other franchises. So Thor knows, man. So while Chris is googling that,
you've obviously got the TV series, the Netflix series, which I'm going to link to any way, shape or form. But as far as Marvel goes, they'll be.
I don't know whether this is up to date. But according to this, February 18th, Black Panther, unless it's been put back.
That was pushed,
and then May is Infinity War. So
that still might be right, because they might have pushed Black Panther into 2018,
just before,
because Feb's unusual. We haven't got a Marvel Cinematic in Feb.
Actually, Valentine's night.
I'm pretty sure Guardians of the Galaxy was
summer. Both times that's been summer.
Deadpool's February.
Yeah, but that's not Marvel.
No, I know. Yeah.
Well, it is, but it's Fox, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's mine anyway. So Chris, back around to you. Another movie.
I'll throw one in deliberately that might not be on your list, because I think the others will. No, that'd be amazing. Dunkirk, which I think is going to be amazing.
Oh yes.
Purely because it's the best, my favourite director, and I don't think he's put a foot wrong yet.
Apparently, the IMAX preview that was shown ahead of Rogue One for the IMAX reviews was really good. It doesn't really hold interest to me, to be honest, because I'm not really into my sort of historical stuff.
Yeah.
But it apparently looks really good.
I'm not surprised.
They've said, the people who've watched the trailer said it looks like it's going to be a hard watch though.
Yeah.
Because it's gritty.
To be honest, it kind of should be for the
well, it's got to be, isn't it? You can't make that into a fun story.
Hollywood. At least it's not Americanised and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Changing history.
So, good one.
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
When's that
out? Good question. I've got a feeling it's summer.
Chris. Fair enough. Carl, around you, another movie.
I don't have any other movies. I just put the 3 Marvel ones on there.
I'll hit you with a couple that I think you'll like then.
Go on then.
Okay. The first one's an easy one.
21st of July.
21st of July, thank you. Can we all, I assume, even though you didn't write on your list, you probably have, I hope you have, Star Wars.
Yeah,
Episode 8. A no-brainer. Really excited to see where that goes.
The other one I was thinking of was a Justice League, but more not one that I'm looking forward to, just to see what they're actually going to do with it.
Give less of a fuck about
that.
Yeah, no,
but I'm
not
still watching, but that's why I didn't put it on my list.
But after watching Batman vs Superman, I just think, oh god, I'm done putting myself through it now. I'll end up watching it because you guys will come back and go, it was alright actually, and then I'll watch it and go, that was shit, why did you not watch that? And I'll probably end up with the extended version that's 4.5 hours long and I'll cry through it, tears of blood. But I'll give it a go. You
definitely then in that case.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you it's brilliant just to make it
exactly
best film.
And I'll read other reviews and find out that it's not. So Star Wars is an easy one.
Yeah.
One that you will hate, Chris.
Oh, go on.
Visual reference on an audio podcast there, pointing. Carl, I think you will probably also hate it, and I'll probably hate the film, or dislike the film, but I'm going to watch it anyway. Resident Evil, the final chapter.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
I wouldn't hate it.
Have you watched the rest?
Oh, well, they weren't very well reviewed, were they? So I kind of...
Well, you didn't watch them?
No,
they are terrible, but we're gaming fans and we like the game, so...
But were you disappointed having liked the game? Sort of thing?
They're nothing like the game.
Oh, okay.
There's the odd lot character. The first one was easily the best film, I think, personally. The one when they were in the underground umbrella environment. That was good. 2, I don't remember that well. 3 was the one that was not the future in the post-apocalyptic, all desert-like, almost Mad Max-like, was it? Zombies and all
that might have been 4. 3 was the one where they were on top of that building where she lands a plane on that skyscraper type thing. Well, that might have been 4. I can't remember. They kind of melded into it after a while.
Because there was, and then there was the last one was crazy. It was like, it was Umbrella with all their fake environments.
It had Wesker and stuff as well, didn't it?
They had all the sort of computerised programs in there for running simulations with the zombies in and all that crazy shit. In the last one.
I might not have seen that one.
Did you not? I saw it twice. I don't know how I managed to see it twice. Anyway, that's on my list. I didn't get a date for... Oh, no. No, I did end of Jan. So you'll be able to find out how crap it is fairly soon. It's her and her husband that make him, isn't it? Her husband's the director.
No, really?
Yeah. They just like doing it. And it's probably easy money.
Yeah. I don't mind them. I like them. I mean...
They're not... You don't go in there with high expectations.
No, with any video game film that you watch these days, you just get slagged off pretty much because it's a video game.
Yeah.
I think Assassin's Creed, that got slated as well, didn't he?
That's big. They've lost lots of money on that though.
Yeah.
I still want to see it.
Yeah, I want to see it as well.
Chris, what round to you?
I've got Blade Runner 2049.
I didn't even know it was coming out until I saw the trailer, and I'm going to get shot down by any big movie fans now. Haven't watched the first one end to end. I've seen bits of it.
I haven't either.
I seem to have been quite good.
I need to go back and watch it. I know it's one of those films that probably for a lot of people holds nostalgia, therefore they think it's really good. I hope it's still good to watch now.
Do you know, the only reason I put it down is because after Christopher Nolan, this director is just my second favourite currently. So he's the one that did Arrival and Sicario and Prisoners, and those 3 films I thought were all really good. So
I've not seen any of those films.
Just because Sicario's good.
Just because he's directing it, and Arrival,
I've not seen Arrival yet.
It's I just think it'd be good because
I think it looks good. The trailer looks good, and he's got some good material to play with there. And Harrison Ford's got, I'm assuming, a cameo in it.
And Gosling seems, to be fair to him, he seems to have his pick of scripts in Hollywood, doesn't he? He seems to get a lot of the arty films, so I don't think he'd have picked a rubbish script. But
I just thought of another film as well.
Go on.
Ghost in the Shell.
God, yes.
Yeah.
So do you know when your film was out?
No. Of course I don't.
For God's sake. Carl, Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah,
when's Ghost in the Shell out, Carl?
I don't know.
Yeah,
because I just thought about it. It just popped into my head. Normally, as far as remakes of anime films or even TV shows, because they did do a TV show, tends to be rubbish. Thinking Dragon Ball Z.
Hang on, stop. This isn't the sequel to Ghost. Oh, okay.
And he's not in a shell.
Yeah.
But this is
she's really posturing and everything.
Early 90s, maybe even late 80s anime film. Very futuristic.
It's short anime as well, isn't it?
The film's fairly long.
Is it?
Well, not just a normal length film, really.
Is it really?
Yeah. They spin off a load of TV shows, a load of anime TV shows.
The feedback's been good so far, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Where they went wrong with Dragon Ball Z is they didn't get the person who created it involved in any way, shape, or form. Yet, pretty much the person who created this is very, very much involved in the film, and they did like a comparison to the beginning of the film on the anime to the beginning of the film in the film, and it looks pretty much identical. So,
which is not going to be a coincidence. So that's been done.
Oh yeah.
That's been done to allay fears of the fans. You'll probably get in the film and it won't be quite that similar.
No. But it's got Scarlett Johansson in, so.
Oh, I'm going. I'll go again.
And every cloud. And in her nude stealth suit.
Yeah, which is not going to be.
When's it coming out? Find out, Carl. Google it.
All right,
book ticket. Go on, book ticket.
Show Chris a picture of her in her nude stealth suit. It's pretty nude.
I don't think I've seen it, to be honest.
What? It's in the trailer? My goodness.
Yeah.
While you two are Googling release dates and finding out what the films are you're saying you're looking forward to are actually doing, I'm going to say John Wick 2.
Yes.
Which is due in February. I liked John Wick 1 and surprised me, and there's a rumour that John Wick 2, or someone said that John Wick 2 is going to cement Keanu Reeves' place in Hollywood legend or something. That this with all of his other movies will be the one that makes him. I was thinking, well, depending on who you are, he probably already is a legend to some people. To me, he is. I mean, The Matrix made him into a legend. Morpheus, Neo, Keanu Reeves. God.
It's because we've seen Passengers and that's obviously got Morpheus.
See, I must admit though, I really like the first one, but it's another one that I'm like, did they need to do a second one? But
probably not. But I'm interested in it, and to be honest, I don't think the story really was. I mean, if you summarise the story of John Wick 1, bad men kill dog, John Wick kills bad men. That's it.
Yeah.
It's just the way he does it. So I'm quite happy with. In this one, I think it's bad men blow up John Wick's house, John Wick kills bad men.
But just think how good Taken was, and you're like, oh wow, what a film!
But that's different because that had a deep plot and it was interesting and.
It was gritty and
whereas John Wick 1 was just basically, it was like someone saying, let's just do some really cool special effects and sort of action sequences, go, bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
There wasn't really much else to it, really.
No.
But, and Keanu Reeves can't do much else other than that, to be honest. He's a bit limited. So that was my next one on the list. Batman, you, Chris, number 3.
You'll have the last one on my list, I suspect. Logan.
Boom.
Really hoping it.
The last one, you said you had 5?
Yeah, Star Wars Episode 8 was one.
Oh, so you did have it?
Dunkirk, Star Wars.
Blade Runner.
Lego,
yeah. I just hope they do it justice because it's going to be Hugh Jackman's final one, isn't it? So they just need to for him. Wow.
So everything, I'm only saying that because I'll hear me when I say that, but everything that's been said about it sounds amazing. Ryan Reynolds has apparently seen small portion of it. He said, blew my mind.
I thought, because there was a rumour that Deadpool was going to be in it, wasn't there?
There was a rumour that Deadpool was going to be in it, and Ryan Reynolds poo-pooed that, as has Hugh Jackman.
But
yeah, you never know.
It'd
be great if they did a surprise.
But Ryan Reynolds apparently watched a bit of Logan, a small chunk of the film, and he said it blew his mind. It was amazing.
Oh, good.
Which is, he's got no reason to say that. Well, maybe. The other thing I was going to say to you was when you said it's his last film, Ryan Reynolds wants to do a Deadpool and Wolverine movie, and he's trying to persuade Hugh Jackman to give him one more and do the Wolverine Deadpool film. I'd be up for that if they decide to do it, because Hugh Jackman even now plays a mean Wolverine, and they've aged him for this, but even the last film he still looks brilliant, makeup and whatever else they can do. I know he looks a little older than the original Wolverine did back in the film, but he's far buffer, more ripped, more Wolverine-like than he was in the. If you go back to the first one, he looked like a bit of a fanny, to be honest, by comparison. He didn't have the muscles and stuff that he has now. He skipped leg day. So it's I'd be really up for a Deadpool Wolverine film if Deadpool 2's good, but if Deadpool 2 tanks, then I don't know if I'm not bothered. But we'll see.
Well, I want to be able to bring out my legendary fancy dress costume again.
Shit Wolverine. So Logan was my last one on my list, and do you know when it's out?
Sorry?
Do you know when it's out?
You're just about to tell me.
I'm going to say it's March.
I was going to say March.
Yeah. So I stopped at the first. So I did my list from IMDb. I went and had a little look at what's coming out because my memory's not great. Other than the 3 Marvel films you named, and Star Wars, I was a bit lost really. And I got to the end of March and was like, I can't keep going wrong and listing so many films. So I stopped at the end of March because there's probably loads I've forgotten, but I think there's some really good stuff coming out this year.
Yeah.
Excited for that.
Wonder Woman you forgot.
Couldn't give a shit. So on the TV, you were going to say something?
Oh, the other one I was going to be on the trailer of that recently was Fast and Furious 8.
Could not give a shit.
Yeah, I'm not too bothered.
I will go and watch it, but only because they're easy watching.
Have you watched the Triple X trailer as well? I think that looks crap.
I don't know if I've seen the latest one. I saw one and thought, what annoyed me is if anyone put themselves through the pain of Triple X2, which was also shit. Triple X2 was Ice Cube because Vin Diesel went, no thank you. Because if you remember going back to Triple X1, when that came out, it was a really good film, but everyone was like, oh, it's the Bond killer, Bond's got to step up its game. This was before Daniel Craig came out. Bond's got to step up its game, Triple X is the new thing, he's edgier, he's more hip, he's more cool and whatever. And then Vin Diesel obviously went, oh, fuck that. And they brought out Triple X2. So instead of having muscular, fairly athletic Vin Diesel, they had fairly chubby Ice Cube, the rapper.
Yeah, because he was fairly chubby back then anyway.
Yeah, and it kind of comes in and they break him out of jail, and you've got Samuel Jackson taking the money again, and he's just going, oh yeah, Xander Cage is dead. So in Triple X2, they've killed him like he's dead. He died on a mission. I mean, obviously they'll do the whole he didn't really die bollocks, but they killed him on a mission. So now that presumably Vin Diesel needs a bit more money, they want to drag out that franchise again. They've brought him back to life. I hope they attempt to explain it, and I'd like to see some glorious death of Ice Cube as well, because he was just shocking. They finished that film, by the way, with him chasing down a tank on a train track using a car with no tyres, because obviously if you take the tyres off a car wheel, it perfectly runs on a train track.
Yes, indeed.
Everyone knows this.
Train.
Perfect width, absolutely seamless. And it was just like, oh, what a load of shit that. And that was he beats I'm not quite sure what the exact story was, but I think roughly in my head it's something like he beats the American government with a bunch of street thugs from his local gang or something shit like that. It's just stupid. It's a rubbish film.
Yeah, it looked rubbish. That's why I never watched it.
It was up there as one of the worst till I saw Zoolander 2 and Dude, Where's My Donkey, nativity thing. So, there's a few bad films in the list, but that one was one of them. So I'm not really bothered about Xander Cage, The Return of Xander Cage, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That'd be one to watch on Netflix or something. Or Sky. Any more movies? Or has everyone done their movies?
I can't think of any.
Done.
TV. Chris, hit me with your TV.
I'm going to throw one in there that could be really bad and could tank, but I just hope it'd be good because of my attachment to the original. 24 Legacy. That's this year.
Yeah, I thought about that.
When I googled TV shows this year, that came up. I thought it could go either way, couldn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure if 24 is 24 without Jack Bauer, but I'd like to be proven wrong because I love 24 as a formula.
Yeah.
If the show's good, I'm well up for it.
Yeah.
But I just don't know whether it's 24 without Jack.
You find out this year.
Was it after 8.5 seasons of Jack Bauer? I'm not sure I'm ready for a new guy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they did a new guy. I'm assuming Keith Southern didn't want to do it anymore, or
he hasn't done very well with these TV shows, I say. He's kind of dropped off a bit.
But he wasn't. Yeah. He hadn't done a great deal pre-24. His career
he did a few films.
His career was
he made it fashionable and arguably for Hollywood stars all of a sudden to do TV, because he tanked in Hollywood, then did TV because it was always the step down, and then it made a massive success. And then
it's true, actually. It probably was one of the kickstarts
for
big budget TV shows. Yeah. 24 Legacy, I hadn't thought about that one. I when I'm ask you now when that's
don't ask me when that's I don't know.
I want to know this time because I genuinely am interested, but never mind. What TV have you got down?
If you want one, I've got Iron Fist.
When's it out?
March, I think.
Oh, you're just guessing March.
No, because I did look the other day. I'm pretty sure it's March.
Eat it, Chris.
Yeah.
So I thought about Iron Fist, and then I took it. I went to write it down, and I thought, no, because I still haven't watched it. It'd be a hypocrite of me to write it down. I'm interested in where it's going, but I do find those seasons are a bit of a slog. I found Jessica Jones really good at times, but in places hard work.
That's why you need to binge them.
And everyone's
can't stress this to people enough. You need to
do I binge as much as I can binge, which is usually 2 or 3 episodes at a time.
Yeah.
But it has to really get me to make me want to put that time aside and do it, or stay up late or whatever. Whereas...
I love this though, because I completely get where you're coming from. At the same time, you sat through films that you said are crap like half an hour in.
Yeah.
Be like, I'm going to finish it.
No,
just put a box set on in that second hour of Dude, Where's My Donkey?
No. I was watching that with Laura. But,
okay.
And Zoolander 2 with Laura. But when it comes to things like Batman or whatever else, I can't get halfway through that film and then just not finish it. It wasn't that bad that I didn't want to know where it went. It's just by the time it had finished, I was like, I don't know why I wasted my time on that. I can't. There's the completionist in me does not want to see a film halfway through and stop. There are very few films, if any, I can think of where I've watched a bit of it and then just flat out turned it off. I'll always see it through until started, especially if I've got halfway through. I've kind of got to more of it out of hope that it gets better, rather than the expectation that it will. That's the same thing with TV. Though that's the point I have, is that you watch the first couple of episodes. If it doesn't really pull me into the story, I find it hard to get on. And I don't think so. I think about Daredevil season 1 and 2. Both seasons really got me interested from the start. Whereas Jessica Jones, it probably was until episode 4 or something when I really started to care, because that's when Purple Man came in. Okay. That's what they call him, isn't it, the Purple Man?
No, I don't think it was. I can't remember what it is now, though. I'm pretty sure it was a Purple Man.
I made that up, have I?
Yeah.
Look it up, I thought it was Purple Man, but...
No, look it up. What am I looking up?
what
Jessica Jones Bad Guy.
I didn't even like that series. I don't want to look at it, but yeah, so look, Jessica.
Leave the Iron Fist.
But a lot of that might have been because obviously Daredevil. Kilgrave, yeah.
But he was called. I thought he was called the Purple Man.
I think he was called
another name
as well.
It's something to do with the colour. I'm sure it's Purple Man. Anyway.
But yeah, it might be a lot because you know the character of Daredevil more than you would of Jessica Jones.
It's true, but I didn't know I knew a bit about Luke Cage and wasn't bothered. I still haven't watched that, and I know very little about Iron Fist. I didn't really know Daredevil. I mean, I knew him from the Ben Affleck movie. That's the only thing I've really.
But you know him from the Spider-Man cartoon a little bit as well.
Yeah, very small amount though. You probably got more backstory in the Ben Affleck film than you did in the cartoon that we watched.
Yeah, definitely.
So I've only got 2 TV series on my list actually. I'm just trying to find them. I'll go for the one that you guys probably haven't got on your list, which is Black Sails season 4. For all the reasons that I just praised Black Sails season 3. You mentioned, Chris, when we talked off the podcast about it leading to Treasure Island, and it sounds very much like they're now stepping into the Treasure Island story.
Is this the last series, do we know?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I knew nothing about it. I didn't even know there was a season 4 until I got halfway through season 2 and then I looked it up. I don't know. I hope not, because I'm really enjoying it. But it might be. I mean, I don't know how expensive it is, how well it's doing, generally speaking. It's been on... What gives me hope is that it's been on IGN a few times. I've seen articles about it in the past and just kind of dismissed it because I wasn't watching it. So I feel like if they're trailing it, then there must be certain industries that are intrigued by it.
Yeah.
But this season 4 hasn't even finished, hasn't even started airing yet, so whether there's a 5 on the horizon, who knows. I mean, Michael Bay's involved, there's budget behind it. Surprisingly, with Michael Bay being involved, it's actually good. No Transformers.
It depends on how involved he's in with it.
That's true.
And you were right, it was Purple Man.
Yes, see? Memory prevails. My poor memory. So I've got season 4 in the expectation that one of you will name my other one in a minute.
Okay.
Chris, TV.
I'm going with one that's actually already started.
Okay.
And it won't be long till it's finished. I think it's only 3 episodes this season. But Sherlock. I think it's officially season 4, technically, because that one in between.
Has everyone watched the first episode?
I have.
No, I don't watch Sherlock. So
okay, you should have
missing out. It's
good.
Yeah.
There are only 3 episodes a season.
Yeah, they're great.
Having said all that, came away from episode 1 a little bit. It was good, but I don't know. It was interesting.
I think them 2 are brilliant.
It was a bit. Good. Did you not think it was a bit sad knowing what you know of Mike Freeman's relationship?
It depends what you know of Mike Freeman's relationship.
Mate,
well, it was literally announced about a day or 2 of Christmas that him and his wife have separated and they've got 2 children. Amicably, apparently.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
But his wife is his wife in the TV show.
Okay.
And they've just had... So in this episode, they've had a baby. I'm not spoiling the story because it's nothing to do with them. They've had a baby and it's them 2 having a relationship and being a couple and having a kid, and I was just a bit weird, like sitting there going, I know you 2 just split up. And it makes you wonder, even if it was amicable, when they were filming that, where
well,
were they in their
interview with
relationship?
him, and he said they'd split away quite a long time before they just managed to keep it out of the public domain. And but they said it was weird with the baby, filming the baby, because they both obviously were conscious of the fact that it took them back to when their children
They'd had
were
2
babies,
children, yeah. But that's why I say that. And so now you've confirmed that for me. That makes me even more awkward, because that means throughout that episode when they're playing not entirely happy families, but sort of happy families, that they absolutely weren't. I mean, in that episode, again, it's not crucial to the underlying story. I'm not spoiling anything for people who are going to watch it. But there's a point where he's kind of had his head turned a little bit by a girl on a bus. Yeah. So you think that's a little bit. I mean, I don't think that was what they split for.
No.
But it does make you think, God, that must have been really awkward shooting scenes where you're on off with your wife in bed, who happens to be your wife but no longer is. Strange one. And I found myself dominated with that thought throughout, which just kind of took me away from some of the story.
I just got sucked into it straight away within the first like I normally do. I think it's brilliant. The only misstep was the last Christmas special. It was a bit too clever. It was a bit too clever, but I thought it got back to form.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and I'm definitely waiting for episode 2. When is episode 2?
It's this Sunday.
So how does that look?
Yeah, that's easy to remember because it's once a week.
Yeah. Is it only 3 episodes again?
I believe it's 3 episodes, yeah.
So it's 2 more
maybe
to go
it's 4. 3 or 4.
It's always been 3 before, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But they're like an hour and a half, so they're like a movie in their own right. It's brilliant. Yeah. You should watch them. They're really good.
Yeah, you would love it.
Season 1 and 2, awesome. Season
Another
3,
BBC drama recommended.
Yeah, I watched the Honest trailer, which kind of made me laugh a couple of times.
Well, I see how good it is. You know what Laura's like for watching television.
Yeah.
And especially stuff that I like. We, season 3, we borrowed from one of her friends at work on Blu-ray, because season 1 and 2 were on Netflix or somewhere, I think, or I can't remember whether they were iPlayer, but season 3 wasn't. And we were so into season 1 and 2 that we wanted to get on to season 3, and we actually binge watched season 3. Me and Laura binge watched, blow your mind, for all 3 episodes in one evening, 4.5 hours.
We'll put it this way.
We just sat and watched 4.5 hours of show.
This will give you respect
Laura,
for it. Average rating of 9.2 on IMDb. That's
pretty good.
Pretty high.
Early days though, with the whole series or just the first episode?
No, the whole series.
No, I mean, it is ridiculously good.
9.2.
With the exception of the Christmas special, which was.
Bear in mind, only Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad are above that. Looking at these,
which brings me on.
No, it's my turn.
Yeah.
Damn it. Do you have another one other than that?
I do actually, yes.
Use that one and let me do Game.
I will have another 2. 3 potentially.
Okay, go on.
There's The Defenders, which is obviously going on from, I'm pretty sure it's latter end of this year, because you've got Iron Fist early.
I thought there was going to be another Jessica Jones before Defenders.
I think so.
Because isn't the next Jessica Jones a girl power trip where it's, even though all the directors are going to be, they said every episode will be directed by a woman. It's like a full-blown female.
I think the first one was.
I don't think it was.
Well, anyway.
No, because they would have made a fuss of the second one if the first one had been.
I'll have a look. But I've got another one. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I've heard that's really funny, to be fair. I've never watched it.
It is brilliant.
Danny DeVito's in it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Season what of that one?
I think it's 11.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's a long running series.
Catching up I won't be doing.
No, yeah.
That's what puts me off.
Plus it's got Charlie Day in it as well. I know you don't like him.
Who?
Charlie Day, the one from Horrible Bosses.
Oh yeah, the one with the sort of
I don't dislike
voice.
him. I think he's quite funny. In small doses, like in a movie. I don't watch 11 seasons of him.
No, well there you go then. So you're not gonna. But yeah, the new season, the last season was quite funny, which finished. I think it was late last year actually. I think. Yeah, that's all. Also, will be coming onto Netflix quite soon after it's aired in the States.
So for me, season 7 of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And that was that and Black Sail's the only 2 things I wrote down. You've come up with some really good ones, but those are the only 2 that really.
Game of Thrones is still the standout one by far.
July this year, isn't it? Not April.
Yes.
It's a bit of a wait this time, but yeah, super excited about that.
Yep.
Really can't wait.
And the fact that they do it without that, I avoid spoilers, but you can't help but see headline the fact they've already confirmed that it's the biggest in terms of scale again. And
But it's a shorter season as well, isn't it? It's only 8 episodes, I think.
7, I think.
I thought the next one's going to be 7. Or is it 7 and then 8? Either way, yeah, one's
pretty cool. I like the fact I've done that. Really pleased.
Well, yeah. If you haven't got 10 hours of story to tell 7 good ones.
Yep.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Perfectly fine with that. Because to be fair, season 5 suffered a little bit from. Come on.
A bit. It got its form again, didn't it?
Yeah, 6 was brilliant, but 5 seems to be sort of universally agreed as one of the sort of its weaker seasons.
Yeah, definitely.
But, so that was my one. Back round to you, Christoph.
I've got one called, that I don't think either of you have heard of, called Taboo, and the reason is it stars Tom Hardy and it's written by Stephen Knight. It's just about the only Birmingham City fan I got total respect for, because he wrote Peaky Blinders, which
the
is
only reason
brilliant.
I've heard of it is that I read an article today that said, and this is the same film. I thought it was a film, not a TV series, so that's interesting. But
it's BBC.
There's a
shock.
There's a scene where he wears a loincloth and nothing else,
right?
And he wanted to film the scene butt naked, completely cock out and all.
Yeah, well, he's
a bit maverick, isn't he?
Yeah, he was butt naked in one of his really early films, Chopper. I think Chopper was the film.
What's it about?
Butt naked. It's actually about an Australian, serial killer, I think. But yeah, Defenders is 2017. It's not got an official date yet, but yeah, 2017.
Yeah, it's weird to Tom Hardy goes from reading the kids' BBC bedtime story on New Year's Eve to cock out in a TV show for the same network. He wanted to do that, they haven't let him.
I mean, other than that, I don't know anything about this. It's just the fact that it's written by a Peaky Blinders guy and it stars him. I'm
like, what's Peaky Blinders?
No, so need to watch Peaky
Only because I heard the first couple of first few episodes, people were like laughing, not moaning, but laughing about the bad Birmingham accent.
Yeah, they get much better. They get much better.
It's cool.
No, they get much better.
But yeah,
that's such a good show, Peaky Blinders.
Have you got any more?
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure on this one because obviously it's not had any official release date or anything. But the only one I could have thought of was season 3 of Mr. Robot.
Is that definitely happening?
I think it is, yes. I did read an article because when I was getting towards the end of season 2, I was wondering whether there was going to be a season 3, and yes, there is. It has been confirmed, but I'm not. I don't know if it's going to be 2017 or.
I've got one more on my list. I bet you watch Carl as well. House of Cards is also.
Yes. Oh yes, but has that?
Intrigued where they can go with that.
Has that been officially?
It was on the shows of 2017. I think I looked at earlier.
Mm-hmm. There's one I've just thought of that I haven't added on here because it's only really just occurred to me that it's. I think it officially was available in 2017, but Man in the High Castle season 2.
That's started.
It's out now. Yeah. Well, it's not started. It's done. It's Amazon Prime. I've got it downloaded on my iPad waiting to go. But looking forward to that because I enjoyed season 1.
Trailers.
If you haven't watched season 1, you need to watch it.
Really good. Definitely is one on there.
A good one. Mm-hmm. Although you get no closure by the end of season 1 whatsoever. So season 2 was inevitable.
Was Stranger Things 2017? Season 2?
It didn't come from a couple of articles I looked at, so I suspect it's 2018.
I
would expect it to be, maybe.
I didn't put it down even if it was. I did think about Stranger Things because, as we said when we talked about it a couple of episodes ago, I'm not that bothered about season 2. I'll watch it almost certainly.
Yeah, it's more curiosity than anything else.
Yeah, I didn't feel it needed it. So for me, that's why it's not on my list of anticipated.
That's why it's more curiosity than anything else for me. See where they actually go, because it could be good, could be shit.
We should at this point.
Could be Broadchurch, couldn't it? Basically, it's just a show that was really good. Series 1, it's brilliant series 1, and then rubbish series 2.
Yeah. Season 3's due out for that as well, isn't it? This year, I think.
So they could go back the other way with that one, possibly.
What's that?
Broadchurch. Season 1 was awesome, and season 2 was poor. Yeah.
We're gonna. You might want to go and do a round of teas or something.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
And so we're going to talk about games now.
Yeah.
But we'll do it fairly quickly. So we're going to hit you with a couple, then, Carl.
Yeah, go on then.
So I want to start us off with one that I'm not that interested in playing, but I'm interested to see how well it does and probably watch you play.
Okay.
Mass Effect Andromeda. Got its release date. I think it's late March.
Yeah.
I haven't even watched the trailer, but
I haven't watched the trailer either.
Apparently it's visually very pretty. I'm not sure what the story's going to centre around. I put it on my anticipated list because I'm interested to see how it's received.
Yeah.
If it's well received, then I think worth a look.
Yeah.
But I'm a little because Mass Effect 1, 2 and 3 were although the ending of 3 wasn't.
Yeah, it got a bit disappointing.
Massively satisfying. But the 3 games overall brilliant.
Yeah.
Really cool story. I just wonder whether this new set of characters, new title, could really give the same. But I'm interested to see if it can. So
we'll see. It wasn't on my list purely for the fact that I thought the 3 games that came before it were just enough. Yeah. I don't think it needed another one, but
it's easy money maker, isn't it? So
yeah,
they're going to do it. Go on, then, what's first on your list?
Well, the first on my list, purely by the one that I wrote down first, was South Park, which it was actually meant to be 2016 to begin with, because it was meant to be December 2016. but that got put back. It was Q1 this year. So yeah, South Park and the Fractured But Whole.
Is it Ubisoft that launched that? Ubisoft aren't going to surely put that out against something like Mass Effect, because although they're very different games, they are similar in as much as they're kind of RPG-esque kind of things. But they're not direct comparisons. But would they put that up against something that big, or?
I can't remember if it is Ubisoft. I'm pretty sure
it is Ubisoft, because it was at their Ubisoft's stage at E3, wasn't it? That they brought Matt and Trey out for.
But are you saying that? Another one on my list, Ghost Recon Wildlands. I'm pretty sure that's March.
That got bumped once before, hasn't it?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, that's where it has. I'm sure Wildlands has been bumped once.
I've got a list of a lot of the...
Wildlands, I've got to be honest, holds no massive interest for me.
It sounds very similar to what Division was.
Yeah, exactly.
To a certain extent.
Yeah. I've seen some interesting clips of it.
Yeah, it's meant to be... Well, we'll see.
Ubisoft have a habit of overhyping their games, and everyone getting really carried away with them, and then them coming out and not quite hitting the spot. They've rarely tanked, but they don't quite hit it, do they? Like Steep was another one they made a bit of a fuss about. I mean, they closed E3 with Steep.
Did they?
Yeah, it was like that was their sort of finishing thing, and then that kind of pooped, and that's down 25 quid.
Wildlands is March the 7th.
Is that confirmed? So that's 2 weeks before. That's an interesting time then, because I'm going to throw one of mine at you now. So we've got Andromeda late March. You've just said Wildlands is early March.
Yeah.
Smack bang in the middle of March is going to be the Switch, and whatever its launch titles are. So annoyingly, and whether this is true or not, there's the rumours now that Zelda Breath of the Wild, which wasn't going to be a launch title, has now been brought back forward and is going to be a launch title.
That's on my list as well, because
everywhere apart from fucking Europe.
Right.
So it's going to be a launch. Oh, this is rumour, not confirmed.
Yeah.
Launch title for America, launch title for Asia, not for Europe, because of localization issues. It's always the rest of the European languages. If you've got it in, if you can go in America, you've got it in fucking English. Put it in England.
We had the same.
Release it here then.
We had the same Metal Gear, didn't we? It was a couple of weeks later, I think, because they had to put all the languages in and stuff.
I just don't know why they can't just release it and then patch them in later or something if they need them. Why do we have to suffer if the Americans can have it? Because they will just import them, won't they?
Yeah.
But anyway, so the Switch, I got the Switch down and I've got Zelda down, but I'll be honest, they showed in the first trailer for Switch a very, very short glimpse of what looked like a new Mario game. They launched the N64 with a new Mario game, and I think the GameCube Sunshine didn't follow too far after the Cube launched.
No, it didn't.
So I'm kind of hoping that the Switch is they're going to announce it next week, so they've got the lineup is all being announced next week along with pricing and everything else. I'm kind of hoping, fingers crossed, that bare minimum there's a Mario game in there. There's been a lot of talk about them doing N64 emulation, but I'm not really bothered about that. I've got my N64 at home.
Exactly.
I just want.
And a lot of that's been emulated on the Wii, hasn't it?
Only a few N64 games got emulated, I think. They're talking about a much bigger library of games for this, but and obviously the mobility is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because obviously the DS had a few of the SNES and NES games, but couldn't handle it.
Well, I've not owned a Nintendo since the N64, I think. No, since the GameCube.
The GameCube,
sorry.
didn't you?
Yeah, the GameCube.
You know a Wii?
Didn't have a Wii, no.
I've had the Wii, the Wii U, and I've got a DS.
Yeah.
3DS. I should get this. I'm looking forward to it. I'm kind of hoping it's my my birthday is around the time of release. Yeah. So if I can get one, although I'm expecting the problems like the NES Classic 2
without doubt.
But the Switch and Zelda were on my list. So.
Yeah, Zelda was on my list. The Switch not so much, but Zelda definitely.
Over to you.
Well, the next one on my list is not going to get released in 2017, but it hasn't got an official release date, but I can always hope, and it's Final Fantasy VII Remake. But it's not going to happen in 2017, but I'm putting it there anyway, because I can dream.
Fair enough. I would agree with you. I can't see for in a million years.
It'll probably be another 10 years.
They will milk 15 this year with DLC and stuff, I think.
Well, some DLC's already come out of it, but I think it's free DLC.
I think they'll milk it a little bit more before they release anything else.
Yeah.
They spent too long making it to let it go within 12 months. I've got 2 more games on my list, although there's probably a load more, but to be honest, I've picked ones that I'm likely to try and make the time to play. Yeah. I didn't put the obvious things on like the next FIFA and stuff because that's a given. Yeah. So I've put Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, got that.
I'm massively excited about that. Looks great. Really interested. Hope it's well received because then I'll sit the time in to play it. If it comes out with like 7s and 8s, then I'm maybe not going to be that bothered, but we'll see. So Horizon Zero Dawn for me. And then the only other one, I'll just rattle my last one off so that you can go through your list, was Crackdown 3.
Yep, I'm there as
well. Purely out of curiosity.
Nostalgia for that.
Crackdown 1 was great, 2 was...
Never really played 2.
No, I avoided it because of the feedback, the reviews are so bad. But 3's, well, the problem with 3's, they made a lot of promises. They talked it up more than 2 years ago, I think now. People had played it. So I know that a couple of the IGN guys who talk about it a lot had played it. There
was a few videos on it where there was people just demolishing.
Well, it's using it was a big seller for Microsoft's cloud services, isn't it? And the power of the cloud, processing data and then transmitting that to your computer and all this stuff. But no one's really seen it since. So I'm not even sure it's coming out this year. I think there was. I'm sure there was strong. I'm sure Microsoft said it is, but then it was pushed and pushed and pushed. So. That was my last one that I sort of come up with when I was putting my list together. What else have you got?
Hang on, let me just have a look for... Sniper Elite 4 was another one, that's out in February. Well, that's just for me because I love my sniper games.
But they've been well received, haven't they? The last one was well received. So.
This one you can play in all sorts of different ways, apparently. Because I watched a few videos on it.
So it's a stealth game with James capabilities?
Yes.
Don't be stealthy.
It's not.
Just shoot everything.
It's not a James game.
Still got to go back and try and learn how to play bloody Metal Gear 5.
Yes, you do need to do that.
I really want to. And The Witcher 3.
And yes, there's another one I want to play as well, actually. There's just too many games. Nier Automata.
No idea what that is.
It's very similar to Devil May Cry. But then it kind of switches into like these 2D bits and stuff. I watched a video of it earlier. There's actually a demo on it on the PS4 that it's probably about half an hour long. You should probably give that a go. It looks pretty interesting. Looks pretty cool. It's very Japanesey, so that's probably why I like it. But yeah, very Devil May Cry in a way as well. Hack and slashing and shooting and stuff. So I think you'd probably like that. And the other one was Ace Combat 7, which would probably be one of the most expensive games that I will buy if I buy it, because I'll have to buy a VR headset.
Anyway, you just buy the game and you can play it by us.
Well, yeah,
you don't need to buy a headset.
But
there's literally no other reason to buy one at the moment. I really enjoyed playing the other day, but it is a demo unit for showing people something they've never seen before. It still doesn't have any killer games, and there's nothing on the horizon, which is my only concern. Farpoint's the only thing that looks VR. I mean, the fact that neither one of us has listed a VR game properly, Ace Combat, I don't think you can call that a VR game. It's going to have VR, but it's not.
I think it's the gimmick to try and sell it in a way, but not that I need to.
Well, I think Ace Combat's got a massive following, hasn't it? It's got a core following, but it's not huge. Cool. So that was our 2017 looking forward to points. Before we move on for Chris's movie review, just a reminder to get in touch with us, send us an email, bossbattlenetwork@gmail.com, or you can tweet us at bossbattlenet. Tell us what you're looking forward to in 2017. We'd love to hear from you. If you are a listener, drop us a line, send us an email, just say hi, and or tell us anything you want to tell us, really. Cool. So, Chris, over to you for your movie review.
Chris has been to the cinema and seen at least one movie. But what was it? And what did he think of it? This is Chris's movie review.
So, as Carl gave the game away earlier, I saw Passengers, which I actually saw with the two of you on New Year's Day. So, it was literally the first cinema film of the year. And basic premise is, if you've seen the trailer, you'll know this anyway. So, Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence are on this excavation vessel that's going off to go home, a new planet, and they're sort of in cryogenic sleep. Is that the right term? And because of a freak of an accident on the ship, they end up being the only people awake on it, and then realise after investigating, trying to get back to sleep, which proves impossible, that there's no way of getting communication back to Earth and getting a response in time for them to have any sort of life with the rest of the passengers on the ship. And then it it felt like a bit of a sci-fi / rom-com. I don't know if you guys would agree with that, but that's sort of how it felt, a bit of a merge of genres.
To a certain extent.
And to be honest, I think if it hadn't have been Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence, who are just about as good as there is in their sort of fields as leading man and leading lady, I don't think I've enjoyed the film half as much. I think it was their charisma that kind of kept me interested in the story rather than the story itself grabbing me.
Yeah, definitely Chris Pratt.
I think both for me. They're both really likeable people.
Yeah, they are.
Who seem to be, and might just be a really clever marketing thing for them as individuals, but they seem to be quite genuine. They seem to be much more relatable than someone like Johnny Depp. Or you know.
And I saw before I saw the film as well. I saw them on things like Graham Norton show, and unless they are actors, then it's good. Unless they're really faking it, they genuinely seem to have really good chemistry, like in real life.
Did you see the Graham Norton I think I seen a video of him, Chris Pratt doing the Essex accent.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
It was so spot on as well.
Yeah, he's really brilliant. He's brilliant. But no, I thought their star power kept me invested in the characters sufficiently to enjoy the film. But I still think it's a fairly average script. Slightly interesting premise, bit cliched in places, but their star power just carried it through for me. So if I was giving it a rating in our new system, I'd give it a 1 thumb up because I liked it, but it wasn't amazing. So I wouldn't say if you're only going to see one film this month, go and see it. But if you're sort of bored on a Saturday night and you just want to see a popcorn film that you just want a film you don't have to think too much, but you might enjoy, I think that's probably a.
So it's interesting you say that because we came out. Obviously we all saw it together, but me and Carl did the drive home afterwards, and we said when you dropped me back that we probably haven't talked to that level about a film for quite a long time. Really, we talked all the way back just about that movie.
Yeah, but it was the one kind of spoiler, wasn't it? Really, which we can't really go into.
Yeah, so we can't give the topic away, but we did talk in depth about elements of the story.
So it did get you talking then.
Yeah, a lot. That's what I said. Coming out of it, it wasn't. You're quite right. It wasn't like a amazing must-see film.
No.
But I thought it was really thought-provoking and in a good way. It was interesting and one that creates a little bit of debate. About what you would do in similar circumstances and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true.
And we talked a lot about that on the way back, didn't we? And some of our thoughts around it and what we would do. I think a lot of the conversation was around the idea of what would we do if we were in the situations that the characters find themselves in. And that was really interesting, which not something you do after a Marvel movie or a Star Wars. You don't come out and go, what would I do if I was a Jedi? But in that situation you could kind of relate to it, even though it's still very far-fetched because it's all based well in the future in a world we don't live in, but it was still one of those things you think, well, had that been me, what would I have done?
It is largely based on human behaviour, you're right. It's just set in a spaceship, isn't it?
I'd 100% agree with what you said though. I think based on our new scoring, I'd have said 1 thumb.
But definitely like one. If it's not a cinema film, if you miss it in the cinema, it's definitely one to catch when it's on Sky and Netflix.
It's a must watch.
It's a good Saturday night to watch.
And as you said, it's as much about their relationship as anything else.
Yeah.
In fact, the trailers I don't think almost do that element of it justice.
No,
it makes it look like more of an action flick than it really is. There's not actually a lot of action.
No, it's just sort of towards the end, isn't it?
Yeah. Good film, very clever. I liked it for that, I think. And I will say one thing, and I know I bashed a bit of CGI in our spoiler cast for Rogue One, and although the bulk of that film visually was very good, I think almost all of this film I didn't once look at something and go,
no, that's true. Bad CGI. That's true, actually.
And there's a lot about that film that could have looked bad.
Yes.
Because it's very sort of it's complete fantasy, isn't it? It's space, it's spaceship, it's all the stuff that goes with the futuristic things that people design. I thought it all looked legit and realistic.
Yeah, it did.
And, I thought it looked good.
Looked really good.
Cool. So 1 thumb up.
Yeah,
Passengers.
1 thumb up. Yeah.
Go and see it. What have we got? Anything on the horizon, Chris? Have we got a film that we can anticipate reviewing soon? Or?
I might, if I can sneak a trip this weekend, which is looking 50-50 at the moment. I might go and see A Monster Calls.
Difficult watch.
But this is it. Well, this is it. I'm expecting to have to do the whole sort of behaviour you referred to earlier with Laura on the sofa and sort of try and not get noticed if it does get a bit sort of upsetting, But it does equally looks like a good film as well.
It's supposed to be very good.
What is that? I got that completely.
So Monster Calls is I'm not sure who the directors are and the actors. So I'm sure Chris will fill you on that.
Felicity Jones is in it and Sigourney Weaver. It's got a good cast. Liam Neeson voices it.
The basic principle is.
I know which one he is now. Yeah, you know about watching it. I'll cry like a baby.
Yeah, I think I found the.
I definitely will.
The first 5 minutes of Guardians of the Galaxy difficult when his mum dies, so I'm pretty sure I couldn't do that.
The trailer makes it look so deep, though.
Yeah. I think it is though. Apparently it is.
Yeah.
It really mixes fantasy and reality with the looks of it. It looks really good. I'd prefer to go to see the cinema if I was going to see anything in the next week or so. Entirely the opposite end of the spectrum. Mindless Assassin's Creed I would like to see. Out of interest, I just think it's one of those films that I'm not sure it'll have the impact on telly. I think what's going to be good about it will be the visuals and the sort of hype-based effects and all the free running and stuff, and I think that would look really good at the cinema. I'm not sure it'll be as intriguing on television. I'm not expecting a deep story or an interesting plot. It sounds like it takes a lot from the first
I'll be honest, it looks like a Paul Man's Marvel to me.
Interestingly, the first game
franchise.
The first game, in the film, they're looking for the Apple of Eden.
Which is what you're seeking in the first game.
Yeah, but you're in the Crusade there, not the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah, they've just picked a different time period.
Yeah.
They're retelling the same story in a different time period, I think.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so we're on to our usual end of episode quiz then, and it's the first of the year after Chris's crushing defeat at the end of last year, which he's in no way bitter about.
Nope.
So we'll move into that. And just a final reminder before we do the quiz, if you want to get in touch with us, you can do with your questions for future quizzes by emailing bossbattlenetwork@gmail.com. Movie questions is what Chris would like, but you can send us questions for movies, games or TV. We'll pick one of each, as we always do. One of the things that went down really well, with especially Chris, over our Christmas special, if you haven't listened to it, was the introduction of a stolen quiz round from IGN's UK podcast called the Keyword Countdown. Basic premise being that I picked a selection of movies from IMDb. I'll give you 10 keywords in descending order, and the value of points on hand when you guess the film is based on the number of keywords I've already given you. So the value of points goes down as you guess. I've also added a small twist to this for some extra bonus points. So once we've guessed the film, I would ask you both to guess the rating that it currently holds on IMDb.
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
And the closest will get a bonus point. And at the end of the 5 movies for the keyword countdown, I'll ask you for the theme that links them all together, and that's also worth a bonus point.
No cheating.
I'm not going to use IMDb.
This one you don't have to write anything down for. It's going to be about shouting out the movies that you think it is, and I'm going to read through the 10 keywords, and then you guess.
Elf.
So,
Home Alone. It's got to be Home Alone.
Movie number 1, and I'm just going to read the keywords out, and then you guess as you want to go.
Okay.
Third part. Escape pod. Scotsman. Revenge
Star
plot.
Trek.
Shapeshifter.
Star Trek.
Highlander.
Not Into Darkness. What was the Beyond? Star Trek Beyond.
It is Star Trek Beyond.
Oh, well done.
And that was worth 6 points as you got it on the 6th clue. The remaining clues were Rap Song, False Name, Commander, directed by co-star, and Warp Speed. So a quick note of that. Carl picking up the first 6 points there.
No.
And its IMDb rating.
Ooh, do I get to choose first?
You get to choose first.
Yeah,
when you
you've got
guessed
the question, yes.
It's probably a disadvantage to a degree because Chris could just go 0.1 higher than you did, and
Well, then maybe Chris could go first.
no, when you asked.
But I'm going to be really silly and give it a 1.5 star.
1.5.
Is this
Because it was
out of
that.
10?
Because it was that.
I'll help you out, Carl. It's not star. It's out of 10.
It's out of 10.
1.5.
1.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go 1.6. It's definitely about
Yeah,
5.
Yeah, but it should get a 1.5.
7.1.
Really? That high?
Yeah. Well, you got to be in mind there's a lot of Trekkies out there who will give it anything. So I wouldn't. I don't think it was as bad as 1.5, but it wasn't great. It was a poor movie.
What's the bonus point? How much is that worth?
Just one.
Ah, that's right.
So movie number 2. Scrap merchant. Number in character's name. Violent outburst. Death of father.
Oh, it's Star Wars
Planet.
Rogue One.
Female hero.
Hunger Games. No.
Child murders parent.
Force Awakens. Force Awakens.
I'll give you that.
gonna say Force
You caught me on the third, but I'll give you the 4 points. So it was Force Awakens. The remaining clues were tentacled alien, stormtrooper, and Millennium Falcon. So 4 points for Chris. And the rating?
Ooh,
Chris.
Okay. I'm going to go 8.8.
8.8. Carl.
8.7.
It's 8.1. So not that he's in any way competitive.
My new strategy is to trail all year, and then James will make up some ridiculous point system. On the last
Oh, is that what is that? Is it?
Plan.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So film number 3.
We have to miss a few podcasts. So.
Film number 3. Presumed dead. Self-surgery. Communication.
Face Off.
Born.
Video diary. Human excrement. Potato. Survival.
Oh, it's Matt Damon.
Castaway.
No, the Mars one. Martian. The Martian.
It is The Martian. I'll give you the 4 points for that one.
We actually got Reborn. That's got Matt Damon in.
That's how it works. The remaining clues were Sandstorm, Rescue Mission, Mars.
I've seen that as well, but yeah, fair play.
What more?
Okay. So
No,
that means, Carl, you need to give me an IMDb rating for The Martian.
Ooh, that's a tough one actually.
7.9.
7.9. Chris says
Go either way, couldn't it? I'm going to go 8.
it is exactly 8.
God damn it!
Lucky.
Chris,
I nearly went 7.8,
point.
I'll be honest.
So Carl, you've got 11. Chris, you've got 6 points.
Yeah.
Film number 4. Aliens. Vision of the future.
Arrival.
Hyperbolic physical distortion. I thought you like that one.
Interstellar.
Emergency meeting. Placebo. Ray gun. Cartoon reality crossover.
Men in Black.
2-word title. Points running out always. Warner Brothers.
Oh, Space Jam, no.
Space Jam.
Yeah.
Yep, well done.
Are
2 points for that one.
Are these just random films, or are they films that?
There's a link at the end. There's a link, and I'm going to ask you for a bonus point what the link was.
All right.
So the remaining one there was basketball tournament. So we had Aliens, Vision of the Future, hyperbolic or physical distortion. What did I put that in?
Don't know.
Emergency meeting, placebo, ray gun, cartoon reality crossover, 2-word title, Warner Brothers basketball tournament. Film number 5.
Don't we need a rating for that?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
rating.
7.1.
7.1.
7.
6.3. We might have to change that rule for the next time we do it so that you have to get
Well, it'd be a bit different with more people, wouldn't it?
So, movie number 5. Ambiguous ending.
Inception.
Product placement. Video telephone.
Blade Runner.
Man disguised as woman.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Breast fondling.
Total Recall.
Total Recall. Well done. 6 points for that one. The remaining clues were dream sequence, hand-to-hand combat, mega corporation, oxygen, erased memory.
Now, which Total Recall, the remake or the Arnie one?
The original.
Oof. Okay.
So, come back. There we go. I need a rating from you for that, Chris.
7.
7. Carl says
For the original.
the original.
6.9.
Chris gets that 7.5, which means before we offer up the points for the link, Chris is on 15, Carl is on 12. For an extra bonus point, what is the link between those 5 movies? So we had Starship Beyond, Star Wars The Force Awakens, The Martian, Space Jam and Total Recall.
They're all set in space. All set on another planet.
I'll give you that. I put space travel, but I'll give you set in space.
You're still winning, Chris. It's my master plan. Yeah, I'm on 13, Chris is on 15.
my plan.
This is true.
Just
So,
completely doesn't
I can't even follow a plan.
we're moving to our more traditional 3 questions now with multiple choice answers.
Okay.
so we need
So
to
grab your
jot
devices
these down.
to write these ones down. So TV, movie and gaming, one of each. Question number 1 is your TV question. Which UFC fighter has signed up to appear in the latest season of Game of Thrones? Is it A, Ronda Rousey? Is it B, Conor McGregor? Is it C, Brock Lesnar? Or D, Michael Bisping?
You should get this.
Yeah.
Everyone got an answer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question number 2. This year sees the release of Underworld Blood Wars on no one's 2017 list, funny that. Starring Kate Beckinsale as a sequel. Can you tell me which number film this is in the sequence?
Yes.
Wow, can you really? I would not have known this.
I think.
Is it A, number 4? Is it B, number 5? Is it C, number 6? Or D, number 7?
It's making me
question.
You got a chance.
Underworld, Blood Wars, 4, 5, 6 or 7 in the sequence. And number 3 is your gaming question. 2017 is expected to see the release of the new South Park game, The Fractured But Whole. But what does the game take inspiration from? Is it A, World of Warcraft, B, Lord of the Rings, C, Avengers Civil War, or D, Harry Potter? Got an answer for all your questions?
Yes.
Carl sounds confident.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll start with question number 1 and I'm going to go to Chris first. Our UFC fighter to appear in Game of Thrones is...
Conor McGregor.
Is that actually official? Because that was only a rumour when I mentioned it.
Confirmed now.
Oh, is it really? Jesus. That is quite comical.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the beard for it though, hasn't he?
Well, yeah, it looks like a bloody... Look here.
I just hope that the mountain squishes him like a bug. So question 2 was the Underworld Blood Wars question. Carl, what number do you think it is?
I think it was 4, but when you mentioned all your numbers, it might be 5, but I went for 4.
Carl went for 4.
I went for 5.
Chris went for 5. Chris is correct.
God damn it!
5. And I wrote the titles down so that I could back this up. So Underworld was released in 2003. Underworld Evolution was 2006. Underworld Rise of the Lycans was 2009, which I don't think starred Kate Beckinsale. It was Bill Nighy and the Lycan dude from the previous film.
I think I've only ever watched the first one.
Underworld Awakening was 2012, and then Underworld Blood Wars 2017, number 5. I discounted and took out the Underworld Endless War from 2011, which was a series of short animes. I don't think that would ever come to cinema. So I went for 5. That was my decision there. So 5. So 1 each. No, 2-1. Sorry, Chris. Which brings us on to Chris's strong point, the gaming question.
Well, I know this one, so I'll let Chris guess this one.
So South Park, The Fractured But Whole, is taking inspiration from what?
I wish I'd changed my answer, but I'm going to go fair with what I put. I put Civil War, but now I've heard the question again. Is it actually?
It's Civil War.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Lord of the Rings, thinking about the whole.
No,
God's
so
sake.
The Fractured But Whole takes place after the events of South Park, The Stick of Truth, which I think was a bit more, which was kind of the other three, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
Lord of Game of Thrones.
The children of South Park begin a new adventure, again set in the fictional town of South Park in Colorado Rocky Mountains, becoming role-playing superheroes. However, a falling out with Cartman's planned film franchise splinters the boys into 2 groups. Those who side with Cartman join the Coon and Friends, while rival group Freedom Pals call of their own franchise, starting a civil war between the 2 groups.
Yeah.
So that was 3 points for Chris and just a 2 for Carl, leaving us.
Did you get all 3 points for that?
I did, yeah. My plan was to trail.
Well, but you're not following your plan.
Good work, Chris.
I know,
so
yeah.
after episode 1 then, that leaves Carl on 15 points and Chris on 18 points. So it's close. Still pretty close.
Yeah, it's very close.
So I think it's about time we wrapped up. We're knocking on for an hour and 45 minutes, so another long one. Apologies, listeners.
Well, that seems to be the standard one, doesn't it, really?
Or listener, based on our stats
Which
for the last episode.
Hi, Mum!
So before we wrap it up, just a final reminder of how you can contact us if you'd like to get in touch. Tell us that you're watching, listening even. You can't watch. What am I talking about? Tell us that you're listening. You can email us at bossbattlenetwork@gmail.com or tweet us at bossbattlenet. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Twitch when we're streaming. Get in contact. Tell us where you are. Tell us what you're up to. Send us questions. Send us your thoughts. Ask us. Or give us topics to discuss, I suppose. Anything you like, get in touch.
Yeah, anything. Just put something stupid or whatever. Just
even,
contact
even
us.
Let
us know you're there.
Troll us on YouTube. Say something horrible about us. It's fine.
You can use the thumbs up, thumbs down emojis to review it, whatever.
Or YouTube gives you the thumbs up and thumbs down. So you can dislike us if you want to. Just let us know you want. So otherwise, we will leave it there, and we'll be recording another one in a couple of weeks. So that's all from me.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.